Alright, so welcome to another video from the chart readers. I wanted to review this pump and dump that we basically saw across the entire weed sector, right? I rarely do back-to-back videos. I feel I just kind of promote day trading a little bit more than I actually do. But this was too big a drop to not discuss. And really, I had so many views on Thursday, I thought it'd be at least beneficial to talk a little bit about Friday too. So hopefully you guys learned some stuff. So what are we going to do? We're going to do what we normally do. We'll look at the daily and the weekly. I will talk about how next week's looking. But I'm also really going to focus on the 15-minute and the hourly when I actually break down the pump and the dump. Okay, so that's going to be the only difference on this video. Aside from that, look, same moving averages as usual, same horizontal support and resistance lines, and then same MACD and RSI lower indicators down here. So again, look, if you watched Thursday's video, let me zoom out just a little bit. Okay, if you watched Thursday's video, I stressed how all of that gain came essentially in a 15-minute span. Okay, so I'm on the 15-minute where each of these little candles represents a 15-minute span, right? And I mean, boom. Right? It all pretty much happened in 15 minutes. The cool thing, look, the rest of the hour was actually pretty good and it did keep going up, right? But the fact that it all kind of came in 15 minutes really stressed it all was based on that news from Biden, okay? And look, I said it a number of times, right? It really showed the power of federalization. But let's be honest, the news actually did nothing for TLRY as a company. It did nothing for HEXO, CGC, right? None of those stocks made or are going to make more money by this pardon, right? Now, hey, if the guy said you guys can cross states, if he said I'm going to loosen up the banking, the taxes, stuff like that, okay. That is more monumental news, and that's obviously that's going to shift stuff. This, as important as it was for a lot of different reasons, it really wasn't a very financial important news. So I think a lot of that also really translated on Friday, right? But again, everyone was really excited through the end, right? 4 p.m., the bell rings, Thursday's over. Friday, what really sucked about Friday is we actually opened above 4. So Thursday we end at 389. There are after hours and pre-market trading that happens, and that brought us all the way up to 4. Okay. However, it just literally tanks in that first 15 minutes. That alone should have been a real big sign of bad things may be coming. From there, look, we actually stayed over the 8, and we actually stayed over one of my support lines, right? So there could have been a reversal the next 15 that maybe would have said, okay, hey, there's actually legs here, right? Instead, the next 15 minutes ends up losing the 8, and then from there, look, it just never gains the 8 again, right? So a little blimp right there, but obviously the 20 slaps it right back. And look, the exact same rule on the day, the exact same rule on the week applies to the 15-minute. It applies to the monthly, right? When you're over the 8, good things can happen. When you're under the 8, bad things generally happen, right? So again, if you weren't looking at your computer right in the morning, look, on the daily, I always talk about needing follow-through, needing confirmation, right? Look, there were definitely a couple days over the 8, right? So I understand that generally that's a good thing, but we broke some really important horizontal lines and some computer-generated moving averages, right? Because of that, I for sure needed another close up here. I don't care that we opened up here. That means nothing, right? And on a lot of my posts, I kind of talked about, hey, we might see a healthy drop to maybe one of these two lines. Because again, just breaking the 20 is no laughing matter. We've been under the 20 for well before September, right? Almost 2 months. So no joke right there. From there to actually get over, when was the last time we were over the 100, right? The blue line is the 100. Look, we have to go all the way back to April. That was the last time we were over the 100 before Thursday. You need confirmation to show that that was no just little pump and then a dump, right? So again, with the first 15 minutes of trading, as well as just this day did not, and look, again, once we lost the 50, there was still a lot. You could have put a stop loss right here on the 50 and at least avoided another, 10% drop after that. You basically would have eaten 8 of it instead of the other 10%, making it the full 18, right? So again, there's a point of a healthy drop, either to this line, maybe this line. Once those were lost, hey, it makes sense that it fell so much, right? All that said, look, we're in a place of both positive and negative. For me, I'm going to stay a little more pessimistic because I need a lot for something to take my money, right? It's my hard-earned money, and I'm not going to just throw it into a stock. I like the fact that we did stay over the 8 and we did stay over the 20, right? Those are these two lines right here. That is important. That said, I don't like how much this RSI tanked the way it did, and really a lot of it's going to matter how we open on Monday, okay? We need to come back up towards this 50 for me to actually think there might be some legs here, right? Otherwise, it seems like we might be losing the 20 and the 8, right? So that for me is what's important on Monday. And when I say Monday, I mean the close of Monday. When Monday, 4 o'clock my time, 1 o'clock if you're Eastern, wherever you are in the world, when the market ends, we better be way closer to this 50 line sitting at roughly 350 than we better be down here in this little shit cluster around 310, okay? So that's what's really important for Monday. Just keep that in mind. And really, I think that's going to translate across most of the other tickers because I remember all of them basically did the same break up. The next stock is another real reason why I was also hesitant that the sector would do well. Dude, Aurora is an important stock in this cannabis sector, okay? This is about to get bought out by TLRY. This is definitely one of the early big names. I mean, look, obviously it's only in the dollar range, right? But this bad boy is definitely a well-known industry name. And the fact that this could not break any sort of this was the only one that wasn't sub 10%. Everything was pretty much at 30, 20, 18, monster ups, right? So the fact that this one couldn't do it made me a little hesitant, right? Again, when I do these views, everything should be the same. When something isn't, it gives me a reason to, be a little suspicious, right? Again, the 15-minute, it had a pop, but it really wasn't that substantial. And then again, that first 15-minute, it just literally, not only did it lose the 8, it lost everything, right? So again, these moving average rules, stay over the 8, stay over the rest. It's really bad when you're under the 8, right? It works on any sort of time frame. So that's one of the beauties of how I do it. But again, look, this I don't like. And honestly, this is also, again, leading me to believe bad things are going to happen. Because, again, not only did, we fail the 20, but we lost the 8 by a lot, right? Did we go lower than this point? It's pretty much the same thing, in all honesty. Actually, it is the exact same thing. We closed at 116. Here, we closed at 116. And that RSI is actually under, right? I see red over green. It's not good, right? We want to see green over red. So I think ACB also has me a little bit worried, just like it did on Thursday, right? So real sad to see. MSOS. Look, I had a lot of good chats on MSOS, and honestly, this is what I wanted to see on TLRY. This is what I wanted to see on HEXO, on CGC. I'm telling you, when we get to them, on ACB even, right? You get the monster break, you get a healthy drop to around here, and then, hey, you actually end up closing here. This is what I wanted the rest to look like. Unfortunately, I don't think any of the rest did end up looking like this, right? So, again, it sucks because what we do on these videos is we look at a bunch of stocks in the same sector. And as I always stress, they all should be doing roughly the same thing, because the sector moves in a pack, right? And when there's an outlier, you use that to your advantage. So again, MSOS, this is a sign that, hey, look, maybe things are good. It's essentially the opposite sign that we got from ACB, right? So let's see how this one opens. What I would love is to close over this 100, okay? I would love to close over the 100. I'll take one more close over the 50, but again, I mean, the real confirmation would be up here, obviously up here, right? I want the continuation up. For now, let's at least hold these two, because again, I'm going to zoom out a bunch, right? Look, how long has it been since we've consistently stayed over the 100? It's been a really long time. So again, MSOS did what I wanted to see. This is a good, healthy pullback. Back to the 15 minutes. Again, all happened early. This again, you see it definitely lost the 8, which is not good. But hey, it just kind of rode it, right? It had this moment right here to lose the 20 as well and come down here, but it didn't. Okay, so again, I normally don't trade in this 15-minute mark. I have a job, right? So it's not like I can literally sit here and make moves every 15 minutes. So for me, I look for something like this. However, as good as this looks, I'm real worried because I saw TLRY, I saw ACB, right? So I personally would still put no money into this. I need to be convinced that we're going up, because I don't have time to do 15-minute trades every minute of every day, right? So again, just know your trading ability, know your timelines, and you can make smarter decisions, right? HEXO, coming into HEXO, again, this was the worst one because this thing opened at plus 30. I remember seeing HEXO as one of the major gainers in the morning, and man, it was such a bad loss for some people, right? Because again, all the other ones tanked early. It was a little bit easier to pull your money out early. And hey, if it was smart, you would have used it here, but it didn't. It all kind of happened a little later. And man, it was actually a worse drop because a lot of people, I'm sure, bought up here, which sucks because they ate the whole loss. And again, like I said on TLRY, it should have done this MSOS thing where it stayed within the 50 and the 100. Once it lost the 50, there was almost no question it was coming down here. You know, it is what it is, right? And that's why I love technical analysis. Again, I'm going to just show it. I already showed the 15 minutes. Sorry about that. Coming into CGC. Again, CGC couldn't even open above it, right? And then just horrible tank. Again, that makes me worried about MSOS, right? As healthy as MSOS looked, everything else looks bad, and I'm telling you, everything moves together in a pack generally. Again, we have a real bad RSI, and then again, on the 15-minute, right? Pump and dump. Stays and never gets back over the 8. A little blimp here at 3 o'clock, but yeah, real bad. Minus 25%. Horrible. SNDL, I actually had a chat about this. I said, hopefully this stays around the 50, right? It definitely didn't. Once it lost the 50, again, it just plummeted down, right? Everything happened in the same 15-minute, right? HEXO, again, that's why I felt so bad for HEXO. Man, horrible. CRON, CRON. Again, you see how it's all pretty much the same thing, right? That's why I am going fast. CRON, I was happy to see that it was over the 200. Boom, loses everything, right? Just so sad. Again, pretty much the exact same thing, right? It's had a little bit worse of a drop at the end, I feel like, too, but again, a lot of this could have been avoided if you had your finger on the trigger, or if you just waited for confirmation versus getting in. You know, it's easier said than done. It took me years. I promise you, I lost more money on things like this than anyone wants to know. But the good thing is I've changed my ways, and I'm telling you, like, it's knock on wood, my trading is better because of these lines. Combination of these computer generated ones, my manual ones, and then more patience than you think. Because again, we're all human, right? I am no better, no smarter than most of you. I put in the time and dedication, right? So follow these rules, watch these videos, and I promise you'll get used to it. Hopefully without losing as much money as I did learning. But hey, once you get there, it's a beautiful thing. I'll be honest, Green Lane has what I would call a healthy pullback. Definitely ran really high up. I don't like the fact that it got this high and dropped, because honestly, some people might have bought right here and actually felt a horrible day, right? Ending right here. That said, look, we at least tried to get over. We closed at least over the 8. But again, as good as this, not good, but as this okay, I'm saying that poorly, right? But as this and MSOS are the two shining stars, everything else looks bad. And that alone scares me, which sucks, right? But again, I hope you're able to understand the rules that I kind of talk about, right? Staying over the 8 moving average, knowing why it's scary to be under, because again, this is on the daily when you're under, a bunch of days under, right? So even in the 15 minutes, same thing. More than anything, I really, really hope you're learning. So have a great one.